Well, here we go again. This is the shaft that I have just blasted, and I was still having issues trying to get the sleeve on there. As you can see, this is very shiny. That's very shiny because I've got my Dremel on it. What had happened is someone had buggered it up. What a surprise. And they'd expanded this by over tightening it and not keeping it central. So I've redone it, and now it's a little slippy there, and then it's perfect. So, and that there is no movement in that. Also, you will note here, this is totally fucked up. That's because people are too fucking stupid. They don't use the right tools to do the job. Now, I grabbed one of my thread cleaners here, and this is a 1/2 inch 20, and put it on the other end of the shaft to make sure I got the correct pitch. And then I've grabbed my file here, and I find the one that says 20, and now I'm going to file these threads. So let's get to it. I'm going to move you a second now. Don't get too excited. You're going to have to stand back. Stand back. Because I have to make sure I've got the right file pitch, which of course I do, because I've checked and double checked and checked. The only reason I'm doing this is so that I can get the thread cleaner on there. Well, and obviously the nut at the end of it. Yeah, you see, it's really messed up. Okay, let me cut you off now. I'll finish this and then come back. Okay, I have cleaned up that thread. Now, the end, of course, is still buggered. Now, you know, I could have just chopped it off. That's not the way I work. I want to, if I can restore something, I will. And using that file and then the thread chaser, I've now got that thread back on there, and I just checked it and everything is okay. So this rod shaft is now ready for refitting. Well, once I lube it up, of course, with some copper grease is what I will use. I like to use copper grease a lot, purely because it is a self-lubricant. Copper is a self-lubricant, and with the grease, of course, it's a double lubricant. But don't use that on the ladies, okay? Because otherwise you end up with a very copper-coloured deek, and that's not good, because then it looks like you've got some kind of strange disease. Right, time to move on to the next piece. I think that's going to be the differential. Well, we are progressing. Here is the differential. We now have the, I think it's a GM shaft. Not the shaft, sorry, the, what do you call it? Coupler. Ready and installed. I did not replace the bearings in here. I don't have the equipment, unfortunately, to be able to test it fully. So what I've done is I've taken off the old one that was here. I was very careful with the expansion washer, set it up as best I can, not having the correct equipment, and I think it's going to be perfectly okay. I have Loctited the nut on. This is how it was flush with the end of the shaft there, so I've kept it exactly the same. You will note on this side, these bolts have the spring washer. I put them on this side and it fouled. These nuts fouled, and let me see if I can show you. See how close that is? But I don't know why, but I'm certain maybe it was that one. I'm not sure. I'm sorry if you're getting a bad view because of the light, but it was with the spring washer on there. It brought it so close that it would not turn. It locked, and well, obviously that's not acceptable. So as I'm going to be using locking wire on this anyway, I'm not too worried about that. Maybe I was being a bit overzealous by putting spring washers on this side, but I'm not going to undo all the wiring I've done. I'm just going to leave it as it is, and I hope the customer doesn't object to that. It's sometimes, you know, you get there and you go, nah, gee, I'm going to undo all the good I've done, so it's not worth it. The brackets are in place now. I've got to wire lock these two. I'm going to wire lock the other side. I will then put on the differential cover. Again, the differential cover that's going on here is not the one that's going to be finally on here. That's the customer's preference. He's bought some special ones. So I will just put it on here and probably use 2 or 4 bolts just to hold it on, to cover it up, and then he can put his nice new super duper ones on, and he can put his nice new aluminum brackets that he wants to use. These are things that he will have to deal with that I don't. I'm really more involved in from there out and from there out. Nothing in here. I'm not touching anything here. I don't have the tools with me to do it, unfortunately. So if there's an issue inside there, then he will have to unfortunately go to someone else. But it's not complicated. This is basically a Dana 44, but you do need the right tools to do the job. Okay, and there it is. This is an all placed now, painted. There's a few little grubby marks. We'll get those off. No big deal. And now what I got to do is put the cover on the back, as I said, flip this baby on its lid, and then start assembling everything from the other side. So that's going to be fun. Let's get on with it. Okay, so I wasn't going to add any more, but I'm gonna. Why am I gonna? Because I've just finished wiring up these bolts. Everything now turns beautifully forwards, backwards. Locking wires there, locking wires there. Beautiful red. I must admit, I'm sorry, I'm a freak for red, and I think that looks fucking beautiful, especially with the black. And that looks good too, but that's going to be replaced. So he may have to actually touch up this area here. I don't want to do it because I'm not quite sure how much the quick change covers, and then he's going to have to do that himself. This is done. This is now Loctited on. Oh yes, I changed my mind, guys. I used red Loctite. I procrastinated for quite some time to go red or blue. And then I thought, fuck it, this is the pinion. You really don't ever want that fucker coming loose unless someone's in there with a air hammer. So that's the way I went. You do what you want to do. Hang on a second. There's the other side done with the nuts on. I'll grab the nuts for the other side. In fact, I grabbed my own nuts too because I like my nuts. I'll have the girls to like my nuts, but when you get older, they don't seem to want to grab your nuts so much, which is really annoying because mentally I'm still 30. Physically, I'm still yeah. Okay, boys and girls, there it is. Get rid of that. This is the next piece to go on. Grease nipples at your bottom. That goes up there with the bar and the big shaft and the nice new nuts and all of those fucking ridiculous washers. That one's that's a little you're just gonna have to tap that one in a little more. I'm not happy with that. It just protrudes a little more than I would like it to, so we'll deal with that. These are flush. They're perfect. They're flush. That's flush. It's just that inner one there. I'll deal with that. All right. Sorry, just thought I'd throw this in. Tell you what, I'm going to insert it in before the end, just to really fuck with you. Okay, I have put the back cover on, and as I have mentioned before, we'll mention again now, this is not what's staying on there. I'm merely putting this on just to protect everything and stop dirt and shit getting inside, which is why there is only 2 bolts holding it. The particular customer here has a special quick change cover that he got from Australia, believe it or not. Well, why shouldn't you believe it? I just told you about it. All right, and as you can see, I've got the bars on now, and I've wired them in. Now, you know, those are you going to get picky. So, oh, maybe that should have gone around the other way. Yeah, true, but it doesn't matter. There's no way that fucking bolt is coming undone very far. Maybe it would come undone a turn, but I doubt that because they've been tightened like hell. I do need to wire this, which I showed you on the other one, so I'm not going to show you that now. This is the baby upside down, as you can see. Once I've got this wired, my next task will be to start putting on the H-frames. That I may well leave till tomorrow, or at least video-wise may leave it till tomorrow, because today it's about 115 degrees in my garage, and there's no two ways about it. It's beating the shit out of me. So I think my next task will be purely to get the wiring done here to stop these coming undone, and then we'll get the H-frames on and progress from there. It's going to be a few more days' work, that's for sure. It's not something I will rush. You know, even if the customer says, "Oh, I want it," well, too bad. I don't rush shit. I take my time doing it. I do it to the best of my ability. Speed has never been my forte. Thoroughness, I believe, is, and that's what I aim for all the time. So, you know, it takes a little time. You know, you clean this washer, you clean this bolt, you do this nut. Well, yeah, but I didn't ask you to do that. Well, it doesn't matter. It's the way I do it. I do it what I believe is properly. And if the customer doesn't like that, well, I guess what? I'll never see him again. And he won't recommend me. I was recommended for this job because I do what I believe is a good job. As I've mentioned before, I do not do the internals of this because I don't have the tools, which is kind of annoying because I'd like to, but it's not something I do, unfortunately. So when he takes it from here, he will take it, put his new special end on, and then I guess fill it full of oil and see how it goes. I mean, I can turn this now and it's that is fucking beautiful in my book. Yeah, it's got some tension in it, as it should have. These should be set to around 14 to 19 inch pounds. I'm having to do it by feel because I do not have the gauge to do it, but I put the nut back into the same position that it was. There's some good English for you. That it was. You know what I mean, and you know I don't talk like that. So there you go. Next, well, get this wired, as I said, spin it round, and put the H-frames on. All right, let's get to it. Oh, sorry, end of this video, isn't it? You know, usual, like, comment, subscribe, ding your dong, play with your dong. Ah, shit. Get out in that garage and do some shit.